Hello, welcome to the second edition of Sweat for Success. That's right. I am your inspirational youth speaker, Marcus. I will be here to bring you principles and guidelines that will not only help you through life, but will help you succeed in life. I came here today, I was a little distraught, I gotta admit, not to come here and talk to you, but because I know that when I get in front of here, I'm giving you my very all. I'm exposing myself to you. I'm letting you in on my life, and I'm letting you in on what I do and why I do it. I love what I do. I love getting there and speaking to you. So I have to convey this message to you that I understand that sweating for success to me is my principles that I live by. Okay? I live and die by these principles. Speak words of encouragement today. I live and die by that because I know how when you say you want to give and people have trouble with giving and people struggle with giving, when they always think that giving means giving money, or people think that giving means giving your time, I come to find out that giving could be just a word of encouragement. So because I live my life through those principles, speaking words of encouragement, I found out that it not only encourages people, but it actually helps encourage me to stay motivated about doing this for you. I am so moved by the fact that when I do this, I know that somebody is getting something from it, but it's like a what do you say, like a spinning wheel. It just goes round and round and round and round like it never ends. It comes back, it comes back to me. And I hear people say, "Oh, Marcus, thank you for that word or what you give me today. It helped me." And I love that. So I say this to say this. I say that to say this. Leave your comments down at the bottom of the page. Let me know what you got from it. Let me know how it's helped you. Because not only does it I do this to help you, I actually do this and I get a return investment from it. It actually helps encourage me to keep going. Your comments and the way you get to feel from this actually helps encourage me to keep doing it for you. And I will keep doing it as long as I'm alive and breathing. Okay, without further ado, this is the second edition, volume 2 of Sweat for Success. We're going to start with, now we are on this portion of the message, which means working on yourself. Last week I did the Sweat for Success edition 1, which was seeing your vision, seeing the vision. That was the first one. This week I'm bringing you the working on yourself portion. We're going to learn a lot on how working on yourself can help you achieve your greatest goals. All right? I call it Sweat for Success. You all know it. I explain this every week and I continue to explain it. Because in order to be successful, you must sweat for it. That's just true. Literally and figuratively. And I brought to you today a quote. I found this by Thomas Alva Edison. And I want to open my edition volume 2 portion of my message to you with this. Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. Can I say that again? Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. Sweat. For some of you who don't know what perspiration is, basically he's saying it's sweat. So I found that, and it brightened up my day because I knew that this had to be divine, because I know what it takes I know what it takes to be successful, and Thomas Alva Edison put it perfectly. Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. You gotta sweat. You gotta sweat to be successful. This is why this is perfect for you. Okay, let's start. We're gonna start on edition 2, volume 1 of edition 2. Working on yourself. Step 1 is going to be willpower is skill power. You can't make it without it. I'm sorry. You cannot get what you want in life if you're laying in the bed all the time, or you're tired all the time, or you're always complaining about what you don't got and what you want all the time. Okay? The process I found to having willpower comes from that other word that I speak a lot of, courage. You have to have the courage to will yourself to do something you feel like, I don't want to do. Willing yourself to achieve what I call your Mount Everest. To the top of your Everest. Achieve your Everest. But let me tell you about those who achieve the top of Mount Everest. Okay? Those who make it to the top of Mount Everest do so only through willpower. This mountain is 29,000 feet up above the sea level. And what I come to find out is lots of people die 1,500 feet away from the top. Yes, this is true. Lots of people die 1,500 feet away from the top of Mount Everest. They call the area of where these people die, they call it the death zone. And why they call it the death zone is because the people that die there, they get tired. The oxygen level up there is as thin as paper. I mean, there's barely any oxygen at 29,000 feet, let alone 1,500 feet below it. So you're thinking about 27,000 feet. It's where the death zone is. And the people that get to the death zone, it's kind of like it flattens off. And it's a sitting area for those who are feeling fatigued. They'll pitch their tents and they'll rest the rest of their day right there, not knowing that the air is as thinnest in that area. That's why they also call it the sleeper of death, because being that the air is at its very thinnest in that certain area, and not at the very top, but right there at 27,000 feet, the air is at its thinnest. And the people that die there, they say, well, they slipped into the sleeper of death. Why? Because of fatigue, air sickness, exhaustion, hallucination. They can't see in front of them anymore. I mean, the temperature up there is freezing cold. And what happens is these people sit in the death zone and they fall asleep, not knowing, consciously they don't even know that they're being subdued to the lack of the fatigueness. They don't even know they're subduing themselves to fatigueness and exhaustion. They don't know it because when they sit down, they think it's like this. It's like sitting in the car in your garage and you got the car running and you die by carbon monoxide because you left the car running and you were sitting in it. And what happens is the car fumes gets inside the car and it numbs the brain from even knowing anything of what's going on. You can't even think on your own because once the carbon monoxide slips inside the car, it just takes over your brain. Just like at 27,000 feet in the death zone of Mount Everest, it takes over, the lack of oxygen takes over their brain. The air sickness takes over their brain power and they're not even able to know that they're getting ready to die when they sit right there. But a smart climber would know that that is the sleeper of death, that is the death zone, and they would know not to stand or sit there, not even to take a rest. And those, like I said, who make it to the top of Mount Everest, do so through the willpower. They will themselves through it because they know, excuse me, they know that the oxygen level is at its thinnest. They know that the temperatures get freezing below almost 100. Yes, they know that the lack of the exhaustion takes over. But those who know that get to the top because they know not to stop there, but they do it when they get there. When they get to 27,000 feet, I'm sure they want to say, "Oh, I could just rest," but they keep going because they know it's going to take some willpower to get there. And I want to tell you, you will not make it to the top of your Mount Everest if you don't do so with having willpower. You got to have the willpower to do it. You got to will yourself to it. You got to get up knowing. You got to go to bed knowing. You got to wake up saying to yourself, I can't sit in the bed and relax and sleep in like I want to. I got work to do. You notice that. You know, once you get a hand on that, you will know that the time is of the essence. And you better get busy or life will get busy on you. I want you to start going to work on yourself through willpower. Get this, okay? Number 2. Here's another one I want you to do. Because lots of people will skip over this. They will. They will do this a lot. Number 2 is writing down every captive idea. That means, you know, you want to be let's just say, you want to be governor of the state. I don't care. I don't never look at dreams as being too big. I just pick some of the wildest career choices, and that's how I am. But say you want to be governor of the state, all right? And you've already been through schooling, you've already got some training, you've already gotten to the field where you're starting to do some political work. Well, let me tell you, when you know that this is what you're shooting for, you know you want to be a politician, you know you want to be a engineer, some of these things that you do, when you think of them, the ideas will come. I'm telling you that when the ideas come, write them down. There is nothing like writing down every captive idea. Okay? Write down every captive idea because of the process that you will leave, that when you leave from putting your ideas into focus. Okay, here's what I need to do. Here's what I want to do. Here's what needs to happen. You will begin to focus on those things you wrote down that needs to be done. That's why you ought to write them down. I've made this mistake plenty of times. I've had business ideas. I've had concepts. I've had nice thoughts that I thought I would be able to just remember. And when I got ready to get home, I couldn't remember. When it was time to write them down, I couldn't remember why. Because I didn't take captive of every idea that I thought of. I didn't take captive. You know, let me quote something to you. Everybody knows who J.C. Penney is, right? We've never seen his face. It's quite ironic how we never seen J.C. Penney's face. To be honest with you, I've never seen J.C. Penney's face or Jenny Craig's face, for that matter. I don't think Jenny Craig has a face. But J.C. Penney, this guy, he wrote something I thought that pertained to this particular step, writing down every captive idea. And he wrote this. He said, give me a stock clerk with a goal, and I give you a man who will make history. And he also says this, give me a man with no goals, and I give you a stock clerk. Think about that. Think about that. Give me a man with no goals, and I'll give you a stock clerk. What does that mean? That basically what he's saying there is, if you don't take every captive idea down, this goes back to my first edition too, setting goals. But it pertains to this particular message. Writing down every idea. What it basically means is that if a man has nothing he's reaching for at all, then guess what? you're subjecting yourself to becoming a stock clerk. Those who are stock clerks are those who don't have ideas, that don't have goals, don't have vision, don't have things they want to achieve in life. Those who don't write down every captive idea. See, when you write down every captive idea, you do some brainstorming. And once you do the brainstorming on those captive ideas, what happens is you'll see which one fits you. And once you find out the ones that fit you, what you'll begin to do is now take that one, put it over here in this place, and then you will start to set the goals around it. So be reminded that writing down every captive idea is just like setting goals. You need to write it down so you can see, does this fit? Does that fit? What do I need to take out? What do I need to leave in? Okay? It's important. Step number 3. Speaking of important, I want to say this. What's important to you? I say it again. What's important to you? Working only on your dreams must be the key factor to what's important to you. Has to be. Okay? You must make this the number one thing that you strive to do. It's figuring out what's important to you. What's important to you? What's important to you? What's important to him? What's important to her? We all have ideas. We all have visions. We all have goals. What is important to you will signify what you're striving for. And let me tell you something else. What's important to you also shows up in your character. Yes, it shows up in your character because it begins to say, this is who I am. This is what I do. And you will walk, you will talk, you will think, you will breathe, you will sleep, you will eat the things that are important to you. You see, speaking is important to me. But more importantly, inspiring is important to me. So what do? I make sure that every day, every night, before I go to bed, I make sure I'm writing down what's important to me that I find will be more helpful to you. But what's important to me is inspiring. I love to inspire people. That's what's important to me. Inspiring people. That's what's important to me. That's what's important to me. Inspiring other people to do their very best. I'm telling you, find what it is that you love doing. Find what it is that you can't do without. Find what it is that you breathe. Every time you breathe, you feel it. Find what it is that when you wake up, you think you're dreaming when you're still there inside the mind of that what is important to you. Is family important to you? That can be one. Is school important to you? Is hospitality work important to you? Is humanitarian work important to you? Is helping the sick important to you? The seniors important to you? Helping our military troops, is that important to you? What's important to you? Define it. Set your goals and make the things that are important to you important. You must work only on your dreams. Okay? Let me give you a quote by a movie actor or actress. Some of you may know her. Some of you may not. If you're my age, you know her. But her name is Goldie Hawn. And she said something that I never thought something like this would come out of a person's mouth like hers. But she said something that was very profound, and I had to give this to you. And she said, The key is to figure out what you want out of life, not what you want out of your career. Let me say it again. The key is to figure out what you want out of life, not what you want out of your career. Defining what's important to you. That's the key. What do you want out of life? Like I said, is humanitarian work important to you? Well, guess what? That's what you want out of life. That's not a career. People that love doing something like that, especially humanitarian work or working at the ASPCA, whatever, helping animals, you got a soft heart for animals. People who love doing work like that are oftentimes will do it necessarily. More than not, I found they will do it for free. Yes, they love their work. That's important to them. It's important that they keep that important to them. Okay? Moving on to step number 4. Last one. Alright? This is the one I think everybody needs to evaluate their lives on. And it goes like this. Step number 4. Who's who in your life? Who's who in your life? Are they helping or are they hurting? I had to do this myself. I had to figure out who I was keeping around me that was helping me and who I was keeping around me that was hurting me. What I'm telling you is that the people that you keep around you, if they are not helping you, it's time to cut them off, get rid of them. It's time for them to go. Because why? Because these people do nothing but keep you down. They're like an anchor around your neck. I know Les Brown, my favorite motivational speaker today. I still listen to him. Les Brown was quoted saying this. He said, "You can run faster with 100 around your neck than with one negative person in your life." He said, "You can run faster with 100 people around your neck, basically you carrying them on your back, than you can with one negative person in your life." MIT did a study that said that if somebody tells you, whatever your name is, let's say we call you Ashley. Somebody say Ashley, or somebody come up to you who know you already, and you just tell them, hey John, I want to be. What do you think about me becoming a veterinarian? I want to be a veterinarian. I think I want to do that. And he says to you, "What are you kidding? You can't become a veterinarian. Come on, seriously? What do you think you're doing? Where do you get this silly idea you can become a veterinarian? Where did that silly idea come from? Come on now, don't kid yourself. You cannot be a veterinarian. That's just not who you are. It's not in your DNA. It's not in your makeup. You are not the veterinarian type." MIT did a study that said this. When somebody like that says something to you like that you can't do it, it takes 17 positive messages for you to hear to say you can before that gets erased out of your mind that you can't. You understand what I'm saying? That somebody says you can't be that doctor, you will never be a doctor. Do you know it takes somebody like me or somebody else who's positive, always thinking positive? It takes somebody like me or a positive thinker to come along and say, "Ashley, you can become a doctor. You can become a doctor. You will be a doctor. You are a doctor. You can think like a doctor. You are a doctor. You can become a doctor." It takes somebody to say that to you 16 times before it takes root and erases the negative one that John left on you. It takes 16 times before it erases it, and then you have to hear it even one more time, 17 times, for it to take root and plant the seed in your head that you can be. MIT done that study. I found that quite crazy, because Somebody has to come along and say to you 16 times before it's erased out your mind, 17 altogether, so that last one will take root inside your head. That is insane. But yes, how many people are going to come along and tell you you can be a doctor 17 times over the course of maybe 5 years? I mean, there's not going to be many people walking up on you telling you you can be a doctor, you can be a doctor, you can be a doctor, unless you're telling them that. And if they're not a negative John, then you don't hear the words that you can't be a doctor, then you will be a doctor. And when they say that to you, it will happen. I'm telling you, get these negative people out of your life. People that are hurting you. People that are not helping you succeed to the next level. You want to always keep people around you who are helping you reach that very next level. Level. You want to always surround yourself with positive people. Read positive books. Go to positive workshops and seminars where it's motivational speaking. I've done that. And I'm telling you, it helps. Get around and get a circle of friends who are positive thinkers and always seeing the best in life rather than the worst and negative thinking in life. Okay? Now, here's something I want to leave you with. Another quote. Like I said, you're going to get quotes from me. You're going to get references from me. You're going to get scriptures from me. Lots of these things are going to come from my knowledge of just reading. And I gain a lot of these quotes and scriptures from just reading. And I'm going to help you understand the easiness and the significance of the importance of these messages and quotes in your life. Walt Disney said this: the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. That's the ending message I want to close with. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. I'm telling you, if you really want to be successful in your life, you must sweat for it. You must get in the trenches. You must start from the bottom, work your way up to the top. But the biggest portion of that is quit talking and start doing. When you begin to do the work you feel you were called to do, doors will open. When you feel that the things you were called to be, people, positive people, will help see you to get there. I want you to understand, you have what it takes to get there. You got something inside of you that is oh so rich and so pure that if only you start working on it now. Work on yourself. Don't worry about working on others. Get to work on yourself now. Start now. Stop talking about it. Begin doing. Will yourself to it. Write every idea down. Find out what's important to you and get those negative nannies out of your life. Okay? I always close with my signature. And my signature sign off is this. Remember, I speak words of encouragement. So I always love to leave you with my sign off signature, word of encouragement. You will hear this every time you watch my videos. And it goes like this. Take a pledge and say to yourself, put your hand over your heart and own what I'm getting ready to tell you to do. This is for you. Okay? Say, I can do better. I can be better. I'm good. Very good. You better know it. Okay? Say that. And I want you to find somebody else in your life. I don't care who it is. Wherever you're going, wherever you're walking. If you're working, if you're at the gym, if you're at the restaurant, I don't care where you're at. Find the next person next to you and say this to them. Look them square in the eye. And don't care about how you look. I'm telling you how to spread words of encouragement because it's a return investment. People will encourage you. Sorry about my slight cough I got today. But say this to your neighbor. You're good. You're great. You got God-given gifts. Say it again. You're good. You're great. You got God-given gifts. All right? Thank you for watching Sweat for Success on U-Power TV. Again, please subscribe to my channel, U-Power TV. Facebook me at Sweat for Success. Use my name. You will get to my Sweat for Success page. My name, Marcus Clark, spelled M-A-R-Q-U-E-S. It will take you to my Sweat for Success Facebook page. And there I will post positive messages every day. You will see other positive messages every day. Okay? And email me at sweatforsuccess@yahoo.com. My other email is frontlinefootsoldier@yahoo.com. One more time, frontlinefootsoldier@yahoo.com. You can email me at those emails, and also Twitter me at Sweat for Success, or just pop up my name. Type in my name, Marcus Clark, and it should take you. Sorry again. It should take you to my page. One last thing. You can always call me, book me to come and speak to your kids at your school, book me to come speak at your church, book me to come and speak at your rec center, your group centers, your Bible studies, whatever it is you need me to come and speak at, I'm available through email. Email me and let me know. Leave your comments down at the bottom of the page. I need your comments because, like I said earlier, it encourages me to see that you've been encouraged, and we continue to encourage and grow with each other. Okay? So leave that there. Hit me up. Sweat for Success. Remember, speak words of encouragement today. And I'll see you next week. Goodbye.